Hey everybody, let's have a read of this question first. You are the manager in Lark & Co, responsible for the audit of Heron, an owner-managed business which operates a chain of bars and restaurants. This is your first year auditing the client, and the audit for the year, March 12, is underway. The auditor sends you a note for your attention. When I was auditing revenue, I noticed something strange. Heron Company's revenue, which is almost entirely cash-based, is recognised at 5.5 million in the draft financial statements. However, the accounting system shows that till receipts for cash paid by customers is only 3.5 million. This seemed odd, so I questioned Ava Gull, the financial controller, about this. She said that Jack Heron, the company's owner, deals with cash receipts and posts through journals with cash and revenue. Ava asked Jack the reason for these journals, but he refused to give an explanation. While auditing cash, I noticed a payment of 2 million made by the electronic transfer from the company's bank account to an overseas financial institution. The bank statement showed the transfer was authorised by Jack Heron, but no other documentation regarding the transfer was available. Alarmed by the size of this transaction and the lack of evidence to support it, I questioned Jack Heron, asking him about the source of the cash and the reason for the transfer. He would not give any reasons, any answers, and became quite aggressive. Now, the first thing I want you to do, well, the first thing I want to tell you is something straight from the examiner. And the examiner says this, and I think this is good advice always. Think about any key issue before answering. So what she's saying is take a little bit of time out and think to yourself, hang on, what's the key issue? It's what I call the knowledge. What's the knowledge element here? Okay, and if you don't get it, I know you probably have got it, but if you don't get it, then you're looking for clues, and you're seeing things that she didn't need to tell you. Owner managed. Chains of bars and restaurants. Okay. Chains of bars and restaurants. What sort of business is that? And then something about being cash based. And then something that customers only gave me 3.5 million, but then 5.5 million cash has come in, so a 2 million difference. Then there's another 2 million that's gone somewhere abroad. And then refusing to give an explanation, and he's the owner manager. Becoming quite aggressive. The key issue I hope you've got is money laundering. Okay, so once we know that, we're now pretty much on our way. Discuss the implications of the circumstances described in the audit senior's note. So what I would do, I'd say, well, the key issue is money laundering, so I would just give a quick definition to say why I think of it, why I think it is, and of course what it is, it's the concealing of criminal proceeds as legitimate proceeds. Something along those lines, whatever comes to you, but it's trying to make criminal proceeds look like legitimate cash. Now, let's go say why we think it is, and I'm just going to go through the scenario. I'll use the scenarios I always do. An owner-managed business which operates chains and bars and is almost entirely cash-based. So you say the type of business is cash-based. This allows illegal cash to be placed into the system. It's literally what they call placement. To be placed into the system to make it look like cash received from customers. So far, so good. 5.5 million, however, the accounting system shows only 3.5 million. And I'm just going to, I'm going to let the scenario lead me. So, Cash shows 5.5. Accounting system only 3.5. The 2 million difference appears to be suspicious, possibly of illegal nature. That would do. Keep going. This seemed odd, so I questioned the financial controller. She said that Jack Heron, the company's owner, deals with cash receipts and puts journals through himself. Well, there you go. So the owner deals with the cash receipts and puts journals through for them. So why is he doing that? That's suspicious, as he has a financial controller to do it. Okay. Ava asked Jack the reason, and he refused to give an explanation. Owner's refusal to give an explanation is suspicious. Now we just go have a look at the question again. It says, discuss the implications of the circumstances described. Well, there's an implication in itself here. This also queries the integrity of the client. Making it, if he's not going to give you any answers, then it's a high-risk client. Make it a high risk. And whenever you've got a high risk client, you can always put this in, and the need for more PS, professional skepticism. The need for more professional skepticism. Keep going. While auditing cash, I noticed that 2 million was made by electronic transfer from the company's bank account to an overseas financial institution. Same amount, 2 million, goes to overseas financial institution. This is the layering stage. Complex movements, trying to hide the trail of the money. Do. Keep going. The bank statement showed the transfer was authorised by Jack Heron, no other documentation. No documentation increases suspicion of money laundering. Really straightforward, isn't it, if we keep on going like this? Alarmed by the size of the transaction and the lack of evidence to support it, I questioned Jack Heron. Whoops, not such a good idea. Tipping off is a money laundering offence. And the senior has unknowingly tipped off Jack Heron as to money laundering suspicions. And it's worth noting that the audit senior has a defence here. He won't be prosecuted. Has a defence that he did not know it would prejudice the case. What that basically means is he didn't know that by tipping him off, it gives Jack Heron a chance to cover everything up, etc., and therefore make it more difficult for the authorities to investigate it, what we call prejudice the case. Okay, so but you are allowed to, if you said, look, I did it unknowingly. I wasn't trying to tell him, look, cover things up. It was just a legitimate mistake, legitimate error. Okay. I questioned Jack Herring, asking him about the source of the cash receipts. He would not give any answers and became quite aggressive. Again, JH reaction. Very suspicious. And again, a poor client response. And so therefore, should I leave? Should I leave the client? But if I did, I would be tipping off. So therefore, I will probably get legal advice and at the minimum, a second partner review. Whenever you've got any problems, if you're worried about something, get a second partner to look over it. Okay, and that's how you answer that question. You know, I've gone into a lot of detail because I think it's a great question. You know, for 6 marks, you can go into a lot of detail, but obviously the issue is the time. But there you go. Explain the nature of any reporting that should take place. So, what should the reporting be for money laundering? Okay, a nice simple 3 marks. Excuse me, if you know, just a knowledge thing really. And the first thing is that you should report immediately or as soon as possible to the money laundering reporting officer. It is the duty of the senior to do this. And what I mean by this is the senior can report it to his manager or the partner, but the responsibility to report it to the MLRO remains his or hers. I'll put hers. Okay, so that's 3 things, and then the MLRO will decide what further inquiries are needed. The MLRO will then decide if to report to authorities. And then in terms of an internal report, the internal report then from the senior to the MLRO, this can be verbal, doesn't even have to be in writing. Normally though you get standard forms for this, and the standard form would obviously have the names of the people involved, the circumstances, the amounts, where the cash is, any evidence we've got, that sort of thing. You know, just the sort of thing that you'd expect, really. Yeah, and that's it. You know, again, I've gone into a bit of detail, but that's the sort of thing you need to know for reporting to get all the marks.